Have you ever noticed how, after the age of 80, many people slowly begin to fade? The sparkle in their eyes dims, their energy declines, and even their conversations feel different, quieter, slower, almost as if life itself has shifted gears. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process, like the sun setting slowly, minute by minute, until darkness quietly takes over. But the question is, why? Why do most people, after reaching 80, start to lose the vibrancy that once defined them? Is it simply the body getting old? Or are there deeper, hidden reasons that most of us overlook? This stage of life is unique. It's the point where the weight of memories often feels stronger than the pull of the present. The body doesn't respond as quickly, and the heart begins to carry questions that rarely find answers. To understand why so many people seem to fade after 80, we must look beyond biology. We must uncover the silent factors that shape the final chapters of human life, and the first major reason is one that many of us ignore until it's too late: the loss of human connections. When we're young, our lives are filled with people, friends, family, neighbors, colleagues. The voices around us keep us engaged, alive, and connected. There's laughter at gatherings, endless conversations, and countless moments of belonging. But by the time someone reaches 80, much of this network begins to disappear. Old friends pass away, relatives move far, and children who once filled the home with noise and joy are now busy in their own worlds. What remains is silence. And this silence is heavy. It doesn't just fill the room, it seeps into the heart. Day by day it erodes the spirit, until even the simplest joys feel distant. But here's the truth: loneliness is not just an emotional struggle, it has physical consequences. Research shows that social isolation in older adults directly impacts the brain and body. It accelerates memory loss, weakens the immune system, and increases the risk of heart disease, strokes, and even early death. Think about it. Human beings are wired for connection. Our minds need conversation, our hearts need warmth. Without it, life loses its rhythm. That's why many elderly people, even when physically alive, appear as though a part of them has already given up. It's not just the weakness of the body, it's the absence of the relationships that once gave them purpose. This is why you often find people after 80 sitting quietly by a window staring into the distance. They're not only reflecting on the past, they are also carrying the weight of absence, the absence of voices, of company, of belonging. Their silence speaks louder than words, and here lies the painful truth. After 80, most people don't die from illness alone. They begin to fade because they suffer from emotional starvation. The hunger for touch, for companionship, for meaningful conversation, when it goes unfulfilled, it breaks the soul in ways medicine can never heal. That is why maintaining relationships with the elderly is not just about kindness, it's about survival. A phone call, a visit, a simple conversation, these are not small gestures. They are lifelines, because the moment a person feels invisible, a part of them starts to disappear. So the first and most powerful reason why many people fade after 80 is not just old age itself. It is the slow collapse of human connections, the gradual vanishing of the bonds that once made life full of meaning. And this is only the beginning. In the next part, we will uncover another reason, one that hides within the human body itself, silently shaping how we age. And once you understand it, you will never look at growing old the same way again. The second reason, the decline of the body's engine. In part 1, we uncovered the first major reason why so many people fade after 80, the loss of human connections. But as powerful as loneliness is, it is not the only force at play. There is another truth, hidden inside the human body itself, a truth that quietly reshapes life after 80. That truth is this: the body's engine begins to run out of fuel. Think of the human body like a finely built machine. For decades, it runs tirelessly. It carries us through childhood, propels us through the energy of youth, and supports us through the responsibilities of adulthood. It repairs itself when injured, fights off illness, and adapts to challenges. But by the time someone reaches 80, this engine has endured an incredible amount of wear and tear, and slowly it begins to falter. One of the biggest changes is the loss of muscle strength. Scientists call it sarcopenia, the gradual shrinking of muscles as we age. When muscles weaken, even simple tasks like standing up, walking, or climbing stairs become difficult. What was once effortless now feels exhausting. And this physical decline doesn't just limit movement. It impacts independence, confidence, and even mental health. Alongside muscle loss, there is also a decline in bone strength. Bones become thinner, more fragile, and prone to fractures. A single fall can change the course of an elderly person's life forever. This fear of falling often makes them withdraw further. They stop going out, stop moving as much, and this inactivity only accelerates their decline. But the most silent and perhaps most powerful change is in the heart and circulatory system. After 80, the heart doesn't pump as strongly as it once did. Arteries stiffen, blood flow slows, and oxygen delivery to the brain and body decreases. This is why many elderly people often feel fatigued even after minimal effort. It's not laziness, it's biology. Their body is literally running on less power. And then there's the brain itself. With age, neurons shrink, connections weaken, and memory begins to blur. It's not just about forgetting names or misplacing objects. It's about the slowing of thought, the dulling of reaction time, the loss of clarity. Imagine carrying a radio that once played music clearly, but over the years, static slowly begins to take over the sound. That's what aging does to the mind. All of these physical changes combine to create a sense of fragility. The body no longer feels like a reliable friend, it feels like a burden. Every step is measured, Every action requires caution, and this fragility begins to shape not just the way elderly people live, but also the way they think. When the body weakens, the mind follows. A person who once walked confidently may now hesitate at the doorway. Someone who once lifted heavy loads may now struggle to open a jar. This constant reminder of decline chips away at their spirit. They begin to feel small in a world that once felt limitless. But here is the most striking part. While these changes are natural, they are not the same for everyone. Some people at 80 still walk briskly, laugh loudly, and live with energy. Others at the same age barely manage to move. Why the difference? The answer lies in how the body was treated long before 80 arrived. Diet, exercise, lifestyle, and habits from earlier decades leave their marks. A person who nourished their body, kept active, and cared for their health often carries greater strength into their later years. On the other hand, years of neglect, stress, poor nutrition, or inactivity eventually surface in old age. This is why some 80-year-olds look vibrant while others appear frail. The seeds of aging are sown much earlier than we think, and yet even with the best care, the body cannot escape the laws of time. Cells age, systems slow, and the machine that once carried us faithfully begins to break down. This reality can be difficult to accept for the elderly themselves, and for those around them. But understanding it is essential because it teaches us how fragile life truly is. So the second great reason why many people fade after 80 is not just loneliness, but the inevitable decline of the body's engine. Muscles weaken, bones thin, the heart slows, and the brain dulls. Together, these changes make life heavier, slower, and more exhausting. And yet this is still not the full picture. There is another force less visible than the body but perhaps even more powerful. It doesn't reside in the muscles or the bones. It lives inside the human mind, and in the next part, we will uncover how this force shapes the final stage of life, sometimes more than the body itself. The third and fourth reasons: the weight of the mind. We've seen how loneliness breaks the heart, and how the body slowly loses its strength, but there is another layer of truth, one that is often invisible to the eye yet deeply powerful: the human mind. After 80, the body is not the only thing that weakens. The mind, too, begins to carry an unbearable weight, the weight of time, memory, and regret. This is the third major reason why so many older people seem to fade: the psychological burden of aging. Think for a moment about what it means to live for 80 years. In that span of time, a person witnesses countless joys, but also countless losses. They see friends pass away, loved ones depart, and dreams that never came true. The longer a person lives, the more memories they carry, and not all of them are happy. By 80, these memories often return, uninvited regrets about things left undone, remorse over mistakes that cannot be fixed, sadness for people who are no longer here. Even achievements that once brought pride can, with time, feel like distant shadows. The mind becomes a heavy box of what-ifs and if-onlys, and unlike the body, which can rest, the mind never fully stops. It replays these memories again and again, making the present feel smaller, weaker, and emptier. This is why many elderly people seem lost in thought. They're not simply daydreaming, they are carrying the burden of a lifetime. And this mental weight often translates into physical weakness. Studies have shown that depression and anxiety in the elderly can directly worsen physical health, speeding up decline. But beyond memory and regret, there is another hidden challenge: the loss of purpose. This is the fourth reason many fade after 80. Throughout life, purpose drives us. As children, our purpose is to grow and learn. As adults, it's to build careers, raise families, and create something lasting. But by the time someone reaches 80, many of those purposes have already been fulfilled. Children are grown, work is long retired, and responsibilities are fewer. What remains, for many, is an empty space, a question that haunts them: what now? Without purpose, even healthy days feel hollow. Time stretches endlessly, and each day feels like a repetition of the last. This lack of direction often makes people withdraw further, losing interest in activities they once loved. It's not laziness, it's the absence of a reason to keep going. Purpose is like fuel, it gives energy, motivation, and meaning. Without it, the days become long, the nights become heavy, and life itself begins to fade. And this is why some elderly people still shine with energy even after 80. They've found ways to hold on to purpose. Maybe it's spending time with grandchildren, maybe it's helping in the community, maybe it's reading, writing, or sharing wisdom. Whatever it is, purpose acts as a light that keeps the spirit alive. But for those who lose it, the darkness grows quickly. The absence of purpose combined with the burden of memory creates a psychological decline that is just as powerful as the body's physical decline. So, in summary, the third reason people fade after 80 is the mental weight of memories, regrets, and losses. And the fourth reason is the loss of purpose, the emptiness that follows when life no longer feels driven by goals or meaning. When these forces combine, the result is clear. The body may still be alive, but the mind and spirit slowly begin to dim. But this is not the end of the story. Because there is one final reason, a force even greater than loneliness, the body or the mind. It is something deeper, something spiritual, and in the final part, we will uncover this last truth, the fifth reason why so many people fade after 80. The fifth reason and the final truth. So far, we've uncovered 4 powerful reasons why so many people fade after the age of 80: the loss of human connections, the decline of the body's engine, the mental burden of memory and regret, the disappearance of purpose. Each of these forces weakens a person in different ways. But there is still one final reason, one that is deeper than the body, stronger than the mind, and more enduring than loneliness. That reason is the quiet acceptance of mortality. At 80, most people begin to face a truth that the young rarely think about: the end of life. For decades, death is something distant, something that happens to others. But after 80 it begins to feel closer. More personal. Friends and loved ones of the same age are passing away one by one. Every year brings funerals, reminders that time is limited. This awareness changes everything. Some embrace it with peace, accepting that life has run its course. But for many it brings a silent fear, a fear of the unknown, of what lies beyond. This fear can creep into daily life, making people more withdrawn, more hesitant, less willing to take risks. It's as if they are already preparing themselves for departure step by step. And yet it is not just fear, it is also surrender. By 80, many feel that their story is already written. They stop imagining the future, stop dreaming of what could be. Instead, they live in waiting. Waiting for the inevitable. This quiet surrender is the fifth reason why people fade. Not because their body cannot go on, but because their spirit no longer wants to. They let go of the thread of life before it has fully unraveled. But here is the profound truth. Not everyone fades this way. Some 80-year-olds carry the same glow as people half their age. They laugh, they love, they dream, they live fully, as if the end is not a shadow, but simply another chapter waiting to be discovered. What makes the difference? It is not just medicine or health. It is attitude, it is spirit. It is the belief that life, no matter how short or long, is still worth living until the very last breath. When a person embraces gratitude instead of regret, when they focus on what they still have rather than what they have lost, when they choose to keep loving, learning, and sharing, they defy the fading. They remain vibrant, even in their final years. So the truth is this. People fade after 80 not only because the body weakens, not only because connections are lost, not only because memories and purpose slip away. They fade because they stop believing that life is still worth living. And this is the ultimate lesson for us all. Aging is not just about the body or the years on a calendar, it is about the spirit with which we carry those years. If we want to live differently after 80, we must start preparing now. We must build strong relationships and never let go of them. We must care for our bodies not only for today but for the decades to come. We must cultivate purpose that lasts beyond work and responsibilities. And above all, we must embrace life with courage even in the face of its end. Because fading is not destiny, it is a choice. And those who choose to keep shining, keep loving, keep dreaming, they prove that even at 80, 90 or 100, the human spirit can remain as alive as ever. So the question is no longer why do people fade after 80? The question is, how can we make sure we don't? The answer lies not in waiting for old age, but in the way we live today. Because every moment we laugh, every bond we strengthen, every purpose we nurture, we are planting seeds for the future. Seeds that will decide whether we fade or whether we continue to glow, right until the very end.